Today we're going to be exploring age gaps in dating, relationships, and marriage. Are age gaps a yes or a no? I say it's a yes. But before we proceed, I want to thank everyone who has liked and subscribed to my TikTok and YouTube channels. If you find this video helpful, please repost, subscribe, and I would really appreciate that. Societal norms often prioritize a term called age appropriate dating, and this is based on career stages and life goals. However, relationships thrive on connections and shared values, not just age alone. So, age differences can challenge and enhance relationships and foster emotional bond and shared preferences. While age matching works for some, it's not a universal requirement, as relationships are multifaceted and complex. So they aren't just one size fits all, and all individual attraction and personal preferences play a significant role in age diverse relationships. So, some people are drawn to the stability and wisdom of older partners, while others prefer the energy and fresh perspectives of younger companions. So, this has a lot to do with your personal preference, experience, and values. So, it's perfectly fine if you want to date within your age range, but if you feel comfortable and prefer dating outside of it, I say go for it. It's okay, and God is good with it. So if it's a relationship from God, then God is in it. And 2 Corinthians 3:17 says, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. So true love transcends boundaries, and by prioritizing connection and compatibility, individuals can build fulfilling relationships and partnerships, dispelling misconceptions about age diverse relationships. So, I want to break down some common myths or stereotypes about older women dating younger men and why they may not be true. One of those stereotypes has to do with motives and intentions. There's a stereotype that older women date younger men to relive their youth. The reality is that many older women possess great confidence, health, and vitality, and they're just naturally drawn to men who match their level, whereas men in their age range may not have their same level of vitality or energy. So they often find the energy and fresh perspectives of younger men appealing, and they form relationships based on mutual respect. Another stereotype pertains to social judgment. So sometimes society views these relationships as being desperate or inappropriate, but the reality is that high value women of any age always have options, just like men do, and they're not desperate or needy. So attitudes are changing with an increasing recognition that love and compatibility can transcend age differences. So the quality of the connection matters more than the age of the parties. Secondly, there's a stereotype that older women and younger men can't be compatible because they don't have common interests, values, or goals. But the reality is that compatibility isn't determined by age alone. So you can share common interests and goals with someone who's younger than you, maybe by 10, 15, 20 years or more, and also older than you. Second, also, there's a stereotype concerning emotional maturity that younger men lack the maturity for relationships with older women. The reality is that emotional maturity varies by individual. Many younger men do possess the emotional maturity to connect with women who are older than them. Also, there's a stereotype that these relationships will not last. The reality is that these relationships can last as long as there's mutual respect, shared values, and strong emotional connections. And then this is a big one. There's a sugar mama stereotype, and this stereotype assumes that younger men are attracted to older women for financial support. The reality is this: many younger men with successful and stable careers are attracted to the maturity and wisdom of older women, not for their money, but because of the emotional connection that they can form. There's also a stereotype that older women end up mothering younger men. We've all heard about the cougar stereotype. But the reality is the successful relationships are built on equality and mutual respect, so not parental dynamics. So the truth is this: women who are codependent, they're going to mother men of any age, whether they're older or younger or the same age. But in contrast, women who've done the inner work to be healed from codependency, insecurity, and those controlling tendencies, they're not going to want to mother any man, whether he's younger or older. So it boils down to the woman and whether she's done the inner work to deal with her issues, and of course the type of partner that she's with. Now let's address common misconceptions about older men dating younger women. There's a stereotype that older men are just looking for younger women because they want to relive their youth, they're going through midlife crisis, etc. The reality is that yes, older men do value the energy and fresh perspectives of younger women, but that doesn't mean they can't have a solid emotional connection. There's also a stereotype that older men will try to dominate younger women. That could be true in some cases, but there are other cases where there are successful relationships built on equality and balanced power dynamics. There's also a lot of social judgment. There's a stereotype that these relationships are seen as inappropriate or superficial. But again, there are many instances where these relationships can work, but it depends on the individual parties, their level of maturity, what they're looking for. So there's no one size fits all. There's also a stereotype that older men and younger women have nothing in common, that they're not compatible. That could be true in some cases, but in other cases, it may not be true. And there are many examples of younger women marrying older men that have just gotten married and stayed married, and it works. So it can work. There's also an issue of emotional maturity. There's a stereotype that younger women don't have the emotional maturity for older men. Again, that may be true in some cases, but there are younger women in their 20s and 30s who have the life experiences, and they do have the emotional maturity to sustain a relationship with an older man. So the reality is this: age gap relationships may not work for everyone, but they do work for many people. Also, there's a gold digging stereotype that younger women just want to be with older men just for their money. Again, that could be true in some cases, and it may be a factor, but many women are attracted to the maturity and wisdom of older men, forming genuine connections. Again, it's on a case by case basis. So let's examine the differences between dating older men and younger men, because there are some differences. The advantage of older men is that they offer greater life experience, in many cases emotional maturity, stability, and they most of the time they do have more financial security if they've been successful. But many older men do have health issues, and they have established commitments. Younger men bring energy, enthusiasm, and a fresh perspective to a relationship, coupled with a potential career growth and an openness to new experiences. However, it's worth noting that younger men sometimes may move more slowly when it comes to committing to a relationship and marriage, while sometimes older men have a greater sense of urgency in these areas because they realize that they don't have the brevity of life. So therefore, dating a younger man may require more patience and a willingness to navigate the dynamics of a relationship at a different pace. Now, let's look at some tips for more mature women who are attracted and interested in dating younger men. If you're dating a younger man who's 10, 15, 20 years or more younger than you, you need to embrace his energy by participating in activities that he enjoys. Remain open minded and open to new ideas. Support his ambitions and career goals to foster mutual respect. Utilize his tech savvy skills to stay connected and empowered. And you've got to keep a sense of playfulness and spontaneity. Also, recognize his independence. Give him space for his interests and friendships. And if you can do those things, you will not fall into a mothering dynamic, okay? You also want to appreciate the fresh perspective and insights he brings to your life, and you want to communicate openly and honestly about your feelings. So, younger men like women who are open minded, playful, and fun, whereas older men are generally might be a little more set in their routines or their ways. So, with younger men, you want to stay youthful at heart, remain active together, celebrate his achievements while finding a balance between serious conversations and fun activities. Now, I want to give some tips to the younger ladies who are interested in dating older men or who are in a relationship with one. If you want to foster a successful relationship with a man who is 5, 10, 15, 20 years older than you, it's important to value his wisdom through a general interest in his past stories and experiences. You want to share your energy and excitement for life and plan thoughtful dates that mix relaxation and fun outings. You also want to have open communication, honesty, and active listening. And this is important if you're dating a more mature gentleman or a younger one, but especially with more mature men. You want to express a lot of gratitude for the security and stability he provides. You want to respect his pace. You want to show curiosity in his hobbies and maintain your independence by pursuing your passions and friendships. So you want to acknowledge age-specific milestones and approach differences with patience and humor and support his personal and professional goals. You want to establish unique traditions together that will strengthen your bond. So the question is, can significant age gap relationships succeed in the long term? Absolutely they can. With mutual respect, shared values, effective communication, and God's guidance, they can thrive. So, ladies, whether you're dating a man who's 5, 10, 15, 20 years older than you, or a man who's 5, 10, 15, 20 years younger than you, it can work either way. But you've got to respect each other, you've got to show kindness, you've got to show understanding, and you've got to build a solid relationship. You've got to respect each other. So whether you're dating a man your age, a younger man, or an older man, you want to date a man who honors you, who will show you respect, who will show you understanding. And so you want to prioritize your happiness and values over societal expectations and stereotypes. So ladies, stay open to a high quality man who may be a little bit outside of your expected age range. If he shows you honor and if he's interested in a committed relationship and marriage, if that's what you're looking for, because you have the right, my friend, to be happy. And you should never block a potential blessing from God based on the fear of what others may think. So it's perfectly fine, whatever your preference is. But if an amazing man shows up, don't just cut him off automatically because he may not be in your age range. He might be a little younger or a little bit older. Give him a chance. And so I just want to encourage you not to be controlled by stereotypes, not to be concerned by the judgment of other people, but to be led of the Lord and to follow your own personal happiness.